Hello, it's good to see you today. As I was preparing for this video, I couldn't help but think about July the 1st of 1977. That is the day that Needles Eye officially started. From the moment I began to think of July 1, 1977, these thoughts came to mind. Monthly luncheons downtown starting at Centenary United Methodist, Friday morning Bible study. Later on, the privilege of beginning two ministries here in the community that continue to thrive, the Crossover Healthcare Ministry and the Christian Counseling and Training Center. Going on the grounds of the state capitol for 5 years to preach during the lunch hour in the 80s, incorporating pastors from around the region, sharing the gospel and seeing people's lives changed. Beginning small groups, a ministry that started in 1989 and now has some 60 groups that meet throughout the community, including 13 what we call CPG groups, Christian Presidents groups. Many galas, the opportunity to bring in outside speakers, authors, well-known business people, well-known athletes, well-known coaches, and well-known lawyers and ambassadors and writers, to touch this community with the message of Christ and to bring people to large events where they would be comfortable to hear that message. Luncheons became speaker series, opportunities to go into places that most, quote, religious organizations don't go, such as bars. Spiritual shots began. A response to the downturn of the market in 2008, when everything seemed to go down south fast. And from that, the Career Transition Group, which began in 1991, had its largest uptick at some point between 2008 and about 2014. There were some 600 people that came through that. All of these opportunities and many others, such as radio outreach. I mean, how many of you remember those radio spots back in the 80s? Many opportunities that God has given us, and many I'm leaving out. And as I look into this camera, I think of the people who may be watching. Also think of the people who are not able to watch, at least from this perspective, but are with the Lord in heaven. How He has blessed us over these years to really have an opportunity to take the gospel to the marketplace, the businessmen and women of my hometown. It has been a singular privilege, one which I'm looking forward to continuing, but I'm looking forward to continuing not too far down the road in a different capacity. And that really is the reason for this video. In our last board meeting last month in June, the Needles Eye Board of Directors, after a lot of prayer, a lot of discussion, a lot of planning, a lot of strategizing, came to a point of adopting a slate of members of our succession committee. And that committee this month, its first meeting is scheduled actually in the next week. We'll begin the process of looking for our next executive director. I can't tell you how excited I am about that, because I think that we've gotten to the point that it's time for that. But I also know that the group that God has put together to serve on this committee is truly outstanding. The chair of the committee will be Tom Ebel. He's a former chair of our board and former president of Sands Anderson. Richard Cullen, who is a former board member of Needles Eye and former CEO of McGuireWoods and former Attorney General of the Commonwealth of Virginia, will also serve on that committee, along with Lisa Hampson Butler. She's been around Needles Eye long before many, because she was what we call today a YP. I'm not going to tell you how long ago, but a number of years ago, and she's been from that perspective all the way through being on our board. I'm really excited to have her, as well as Heather Heah. Heather is a current board member, and Heather is the marketing manager of O'My, a dairy-free gelato company. Last but certainly not least is James Lee. He is the president of Journey 7, and he's actually a facilitator of one of our 13 Christian Presidents groups. and I will serve as an ex-officio member of that committee. This committee will begin a search that will start within the next month. And please keep in mind, they haven't met yet, but you'll be hearing more about details and what is coming down the pike as we move a couple of weeks out. That will occur not far down the road. I think as I'll look back and then look forward, I have seen God's hand numerous ways over the years, and how faithful He's been. How faithful He's been at the right time to bring us the right people in the right positions. How faithful He has been to meet our needs. I know in the next years and the years ahead, He will continue to do that. I believe that God has called Needles Eye to this community not to be a one-generation ministry. And when our new executive director comes on board, I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm going to just transition. I'll be fully engaged, but I'm going to transition to a purely ministerial role, which is what I love to do. I have been very thankful to God that my health has been good, my passion for the gospel has not changed. When we started Needles Eye, we had a mission statement, which has not changed virtually at all in 43 years. We did not have a vision statement until the last 2.5 years. The vision statement we currently have is to see metropolitan Richmond prosper and rejoice through the transformed lives of men and women passionately pursuing Jesus Christ in their workplaces. That has legs for decades, actually for millennia. That will be what the new executive director will get their arms around and their hands on. The gospel has the ability, and only the gospel has the ability to change culture, because it's the only power that has the ability to change hearts. I have and do consider it a privilege to serve the Lord Jesus in my hometown. It has been a blessing beyond comprehension. And I want you to know, for all of you who've been a part of Needles Eye while I've been executive director, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your prayers, your support, your availability, your openness to let God use you, your support financially. It's been one of His greatest blessings. As I wrap up my comments today, I must tell you how much I appreciate all that you have done for Needles Eye. So many of you have given so much for so long, whether it be time, availability, gifts, your gifting, talents and resources, as a small group member, a luncheon speaker, a prayer partner. Many of you have prayed for so long for Needles Eye and so often, and many of you have given. I can't even begin to approximate the number of all of you who have done so many things for this ministry that God started. We're now starting its 44th year. From the bottom of my heart, I just wanted to thank God for you and thank you, and encourage you to continue to pray for Needles Eye and its new executive director and the ministry God has for us over the next 43 years. God bless you.